Welcome to World War II Chronicles, a weekly tribute to America's fighting men and women in commemoration of the Second World War. These programs are narrated by Ed Herlihy and are based on the news broadcasts of the war period from the recorded sound collection of the National Archives in Washington, D.C.
Since August 1940, Berlin had been the target of sporadic Allied bombing attacks. However, in November 1943, RAF Chief Arthur Harris sought approval from Winston Churchill to make the city's destruction a priority and prove the value of his strategic bombing campaigns.
There are a lot of people who say that bombing can never win a war. Well, my answer to that is that it has never been tried yet, and we shall see. Germany will make a most interesting initial experiment.
Known as the Battle of Berlin, the third RAF campaign of the war started on November 18th. Between November and the end of March 1944, the RAF made 16 major attacks on Berlin alone.
Berlin is a paralyzed and isolated inferno tonight, with large sections of its center bombed to flaming rubble by the second successive block-busting night attack by Royal Air Force four-engined bombers.
Correspondent Edward R. Murrow was aboard the bomber D-Dog for one of the early raids.
Berlin was a kind of orchestrated hell, a terrible symphony of light and flame. Men die in the sky while others are roasted alive in their cellars. Berlin last night wasn't a pretty sight. In about 35 minutes, it was hit with about 3 times the amount of stuff that ever came down on London in a night-long blitz. This is a calculated, remorseless campaign of destruction. Right now, the mechanics are probably working on D-Dog, getting him ready to fly again.
In the Battle of Berlin, over 10,000 sorties were flown and more than 1,000 aircraft were lost.
Reports are flooding out of Europe today that Berlin is 1/4 demolished, that thousands of refugees are streaming out of the city, and that Nazi officials are planning on abandoning the once proud capital.
Although the Allied bombing offensive totally leveled 1/6 of the city, Berlin continued to fight until Soviet troops captured the German capital in May 1945. I'm Ed Herlihy. Join me next time for World War II Chronicles.
World War II Chronicles was produced by the American Veterans Center and Radio America in cooperation with the National Archives. To listen to more episodes, subscribe on iTunes or visit AmericanVeteransCenter.org. We need your help to keep the legacy of our World War II generation alive. Visit AmericanVeteransCenter.org to make a donation to support World War II Chronicles and the ongoing work of the American Veterans Center.